Good evening, everyone. My name is Logan Gunderson. This is my marketing or my paper for Marketing 510. The title of my paper is Women as the Primary Target Market Segment for the Purchase of Guns and the Related Training for Safety Purposes. The topics that we're going to go through tonight are the introduction, the examples of the best and worst practices, the academia perspective, the opinion of the phenomenon, and the conclusion. To start, the introduction here, what is the definition of women as a primary target market segment? The definition, I couldn't really find a good definition in my research, so I kind of went with a working definition. The working definition is gun culture and the related training involved has a space for women that can be beneficial and rewarding for both parties. That kind of gives us a good place to start and kind of go from there. So who is this important to? This concept is important to a large number of parties. To start with, the manufacturers and retailers of guns this is a huge thing of importance to them. Women make up, half of the people that we can market to in the United States and in the world. And so if you're missing out on that demographic, then you're missing out on a large portion of customers. The other one that it's important to is the gun community as a whole. Guns have been, kind of targeted more recently. And this is, if women are pro-gun, it makes moving forward with guns much easier. And then the market segmentation of the gun market is very split into just two sides of the coin. The first side is hunting and the guns and training and resources that go into the hunting side. And then there's the self-defense side and the concealed carry and the use of guns for protection, basically. So that's kind of the two sides of the coin that we can go with there. And it's interesting because in 1999, there was a study done and 49% of gun owners had guns for hunting and 26% had guns for protection. And you fast forward to 2013 and 32% had it for hunting and 48% for protection. So just in a small sample period there, there was a big, a large shift in why people owned guns. Jumping into the examples. An example of a good company and a company that's done that the right way is Sturm Ruger and Company. Sturm Ruger, everyone knows them as Ruger, has done a great job of providing resources for women and to train women. A lot of the women that get into owning guns for safety purposes are single moms, single women who live by themselves and don't have any access to guns really to know what they're looking for. So Ruger has provided a training course, and so they bring the women to their facility and they allow them to shoot a number of different guns, teach them how to use the guns, find a gun that fits their hand size well, and then a gun that they shoot well. And then at the end of that training, Ruger takes them in and allows them to purchase the gun that they liked and gives them a bag for concealed carry that fits that specific gun. So one of the other things that they do well is the non-marketing in the company. As I mentioned, allowing a person to shoot a gun and find the one that fits their hand best is invaluable. And so their manufacturing and their engineering behind the guns to allow them to fit different kinds of people is huge for the company. The other one that I think does a good job, and this is kind of a little off, the beaten path here, is the internet. What's made the kind of gun culture explode so much is the ability for people to feel included and connect with people. If you look at, there's tons of different blogs and Instagram pages and things where a woman could go and feel like they're a part of a group and like they have access to other people who are kind of doing the same thing as they are and find information and resources on how to be safe, how to do it right, tips and tricks of the trade when you're getting into it. And so that's just, kind of huge. And then the one that, as an example of worst practices, is the NRA. NRA is the National Rifle Association. And this one might not be what you would think of when you think of worst, because they are the longest standing gun advocacy group in the United States. And so how can they be on the worst side? But when they started marketing guns to women, some of the advertisements that they used were not they were not good. I'm not going to give any examples on here because it was sexist, it was misogynist, and it was kind of appalling actually. And so um, since then, the NRA has done better, and gun companies in general have done better. But this is kind of a big stain that I found kind of on their on their um, reputation a little bit. And then kind of the big, the elephant in the room is PR problems as far as how does a company market when they have to deal with school shootings and different tragedies like that. And there's so much backlash from those events that it's very difficult for the company to get over and kind of move forward from that. Um, so that is my why they are on the worst practices. What does the academia say? Well, guns and culture is guns in American culture specifically are very, very ingrained in our culture, and the roots run really deep. If you think of different vocabulary, I'm from North Dakota, and the oil field is huge here, and one of the big terms you hear is hot shot runs. So hot shot comes from shooting, and then there's bite the bullet, there's a silver bullet, dodge the bullet, shooting for the target. Um, you know, I'm sitting shotgun. You got to pull the trigger on the deal. Just all these things. You got to bring out the big guns for this deal. All these terms that go back to gun culture in America, and it's quite crazy how it starts so young. One of the things that I found was how young boys had been marketed to getting guns for Christmas and growing up, and how these gun companies have done a good job of getting a hold of people at a young age and making it cool and part of culture to see guns in Western movies and see guns in different action flicks, and it has been a part of America, and it's very deeply ingrained in American culture. And then the future, where does the future go? One of the things that is huge is there is a battle on guns right now, the Second Amendment, trying to gun control, all these things. And I think America, where America goes with guns, is going to have a strong. It's going to look very similar to how women decide on guns. So, kind of my opinion on the phenomenon here is, what value is there for companies? Well, there's a huge, immense value here. Like I mentioned before, marketing to women is a massive portion of the United States, and basically the market share that some of these companies can sell to. If women are for guns, the market that they can sell to is much bigger than if women are against guns. And then, with the concealed carry here, like you mentioned, there's been waves of people flocking towards the self-defense side rather than the hunting side, and women are a big portion of that. So this is very important for companies. And I think, this next one, information here, the way the world has gone is we have information at the tip of our fingertips so often, and I think guns and gun culture is no different than that. And so, that's what's made it available for some of these people to get into guns when they normally wouldn't have been able to, because now they're able to learn without having someone with them or teaching them how to do it. And then kind of the value of women and the influence that they have. Like I mentioned, with gun control, if women decide that the safest thing for them is to get a gun, then guns will flourish in this country from here till who knows when. And if women decide that the safest thing for them is to fight for gun control and get rid of guns, then I think gun culture is going to struggle. So the gun culture is under attack, and I think women will be they may be the deciding factor. And like I said, the way that women choose is the way that this will go. So that is my presentation about women as the primary target market segment for the purchasing of guns and the related training and safety material. Thank you for listening. And if you have any questions about any of this, please feel free to let me know. Thank you.